Sounds, spirit, and community. Musical practices and communal identity at First Progressive Baptist Church in East Lubbock. This presentation examines musical practices at First Progressive Baptist Church, a predominantly African American church congregation in East Lubbock. I argue that music in this community not only functions as a form of spiritual nourishment, but also as the vital mechanism for sustaining communal identity and unity. I analyze, interview, field recordings and observations, notes and field journal, unpack music structure and selection, social structure, performance and local history approaches. First Progressive Baptist Church is located at 4201 East 63rd Street, Lubbock, Texas, within the Yellow Canyon subdivision, a residential neighborhood. It was started in 1982 under the leadership of the late Dr. HLA and 6 other members. History of African American churches. African American churches emerged in the late 18th and early 19th centuries as autonomous religious institutions formed in response to racial exclusion, segregation, and spiritual needs, and met within white-dominated denominations. Originating with early black congregations such as the African Methodist Episcopal Church in 1816 and the African Baptist churches, these institutions became central sites for community formation, education, and political organization throughout the 19th century, especially during Reconstruction, when black churches supported schools, civic associations, and efforts towards civil rights. In the 20th century, African American churches diversified into mainline Protestant, Holiness, Pentecostal, and independent traditions, such as shaping distinctive worship styles, music forms, and theological emphasis. Across these periods, the Black Church has remained a foundational institution in African American life, serving as an area of social activism, culture, creativity, and collective identity, from the abolitionist and civil rights movements to contemporary struggles for justice. You can look at Richard in 2011 wrote about it. So, origins of the First Progressive Baptist Church. First Progressive Baptist Church was founded in 1962 as Clark Memorial Baptist Church. Its journey from a small group of believers to a thriving congregation reflects the resilience and resourcefulness of its members, guided by divine providence and the leadership of dedicated pastors and lay people. The church story begins with Reverend Sykes and Sister Willie Mae Thomas, who organized the church with 12 members named after Dr. V. Clark, whose generous donation of land on East 54th Street. The church initially faced challenges following Reverend Sykes' resignation in 1965. The church was without a pastor for several years. During this interim, Sister Willie Mae Thomas played a crucial role, diligently holding Bible studies and services with the assistance of visiting ministers. Her unwavering commitment kept the flame of faith alive, ensuring the church's survival. A significant turning point occurred in 1968 with the relocation to Peach Avenue, again thanks to Dr. Clark's generosity. This marked a new phase, with services initially conducted under a tent until the construction of a simple building with Minister Miller Brother Thomas and Brother Polk. This small building served the congregation until it became unsafe, forcing them to seek refuge at the American Legion Hall. The arrival of Reverend Macklin Shepherd in 1971 marked a new era of stability and growth. Under his leadership as pastor, the church received a generous donation from Pleasant Ridge Baptist Church, providing a much-needed building that was moved to Peach Avenue in 1972. This move prompted a significant decision. The church was renamed First Progressive Baptist Church, signifying its renewed vision and commitment to progress. Reverend Shepherd continued to guide the church, and in 1978 another building was donated by the Lubbock Baptist Association. This prompted the purchase of a lot near 13th and Peach, solidifying the church's presence in the community. However, Reverend Shepherd's resignation in 1981 left the church at a crossroad with only 6 members. The subsequent arrival of Reverend Homer L. Avery Sr. in September 1981 proved to be a pivotal moment in the church's history. He inherited a building in despair and a small congregation in seemingly unsurmountable challenges, yet with unwavering faith and the support of his dedicated members. Under the leadership of Dr. Homer Lee Avery, the church experienced exponential growth from a mere 6 members in 1982. This congregation grew to approximately 300 by 1995. Dr. Avery, working closely with the deacon board and church leaders, guided the congregation with patience, faith, wisdom, and knowledge, accomplishing what may deemed impossible. It is currently under the leadership of Bishop Dishan Avery, following the passing of his father, Dr. Homer Lee Avery. Worship practices and rituals. Music and congregational participation. The sanctuary is arranged in a semicircular style, with the pulpit taking center stage and musicians on the front left-hand side. This kind of arrangement to me emphasized visibility and community rather than hierarchy. Congregants used armless chairs, which would facilitate physical expression of worship, ease of access, and inclusivity in order to maximally utilize the church space, given its size in relation to the population. The church was founded by Bishop A's late father and 6 friends who were members of a singing quartet called the Wayside Travelers. Bishop A's father trained singers, and that group eventually came together to form the church. This is an indicator that the church has a strong musical background and culture. Regarding music selection, Bishop A, the lead pastor, emphasized that any genre can be used as long as it communicates God's word. Some music genres are avoided if their musical associations distract from spiritual focus. He also noted that certain chord progressions popular in secular music can evoke secular songs when paired with gospel lyrics, such as Michael Jackson's Heartbreak Hotel. Therefore, such sounds are used consciously in church settings. While sound matters, lyrics and meaning are most important. Given Bishop A's hymn background, textual integrity is central to song choice. The keyboard player and worship leader typically decide on the songs, though Bishop A occasionally suggests certain tunes. The church's early years were defined by traditional quartet songs led by Bishop A's father for over 27 years. Members often requested specific songs, arguing that they spoke to their spirits and could be meaningful last time moments. When Bishop A assumed leadership, he shifted the focus from individual song requests to a God-centered worship experience. As an observer, I noticed a link between music's role as a social phenomenon and its role as a spiritual medium. This transition was, however, challenging because it required changing long-standing musical habits. Currently, the church has some of the best musicians in town who blend very well and play every Sunday. In an interview with JH, one of the reasons for joining the team is because of invitation by the very respected music director Mr. D. Just like in many other African American churches, the musicians play from memory, which showed an oral tradition. JH confirmed that this has been a tradition since slavery, where they performed from collective memory. Andrew and Caroline in 2015 discussed characteristics of music in African American churches. This analysis gives a good picture of music in the First Progressive Church. They highlight characteristics such as gospel phrasing and syncopation, elongation of syllables, improvisation, having piano as the lead accompaniment, among others. All these are present and are at this church. Social services and outreach programs. In addition to church services, they usually hold lunch in the dining hall where any member of the community is welcome to take part. The church also values and welcomes university students. They not only organize university outreach programs, but also provide dinner for students at church. Role of the community. The community forms the foundation of the church. Members support one another regardless of circumstances, fostering a sense of peace, belonging, and joy. Songs like We Are One are frequently used both inside and outside the church to reinforce this shared identity. Bishop A commented that since the church started, people's involvement in the church is not only religious, but comprises groups focused on social justice, gun violence prevention, and community activism, indicating the church's role in social life of its members. Challenges and adaptations. East Lubbock is historically known for facing challenges such as industrial zoning, lack of amenities, economic decline, and past racial issues. Looking at this history provides clues for the community and church involvement. In an interview with PH, she, just like Bishop A, highlighted the lack of resources as one of the ongoing challenges, especially during the winter months. She shared the example of an elderly neighbor who lives alone and struggles with inadequate support, a situation emblematic of larger gaps in community care. Some of the challenges were accrued to the May 11, 1970 Lubbock tornado that affected East Lubbock. It destroyed or damaged thousands of homes and hundreds of businesses. One estimate says 1,100 homes destroyed and 8,000 others damaged. The study of First Progressive Baptist Church in East Lubbock illuminates the profound interplay between musical practices, spiritual life, and community identity within an African American church context. Through an examination of congregational singing, instrumental accompaniment, and improvisatory performance, it becomes clear that music at FPBC is not merely aesthetic but functions as a vehicle for community cohesion, cultural continuity, and spiritual expression. The church's musical practices reflect historical legacies of African American religious life while simultaneously adopting the contemporary needs and identities of its congregants. Moreover, these practices help sustain social bonds, foster intergenerational transmission of values, and provides a framework for collective memory, resilience, and belonging in East Lubbock, a community shaped by historical challenges including displacement, segregation, and urban change. The case of FPBC demonstrates that music within African American churches is a dynamic force, simultaneously embodying sacred expressions, cultural heritage, and communal identity, offering scholars, archivists, and practitioners insight into the way sound, spirit, and community intersect and endure. For future research, this presentation suggests the value of comparative investigations across other Pentecostal or religious sub-communities to identify regional, cultural, and denominational variations in music practices and community engagement. Drawing on my own experiences with Ugandan Pentecostal churches, I have observed that both parallels and significant differences in the ways congregational and community life are structured, suggesting that broader cross-cultural analysis would yield important insights into the diversity and commonalities of Pentecostal and social practices. Thank you very much.